I think in general, medicine has evolved. I think across the board, we're talking healthcare as a whole has leveled up. They uptick higher. Patients are expecting more. I mean, we go anywhere and technology is higher. You go to the movie theater, you go to the restaurants, everything has up leveled. And if you and your practice are not up leveling, and I don't think it's hard for dentistry. I'm like, you guys already have a 3D printer, or you already have a scanner, or you already are taking digital x-rays. Just tell your patients you do this, showcase it around, because I think the fallacy that you might fall into is like, but patients are just loyal to me. I think we have to be careful because there's so much online noise that while a patient might love you, they're seeing other offices that might accidentally take away your patients, and they're doing it. Like, it annoys me, John. I have a patient sitting in my chair like, yeah, I just went to Dr. Thompson down the street for my ortho. And I'm like, so we do ortho here, but they didn't know we did it. And so don't accidentally not showcase your work and showcase how great you are and how up to par you are, that you're accidentally losing patients that are silent leavers of your practice because you didn't showcase how great you were and let your patients know what you actually do. I think that's the trap and the opportunity, if you take it, to be able to like keep your patients with you and keep them happier with you when there's still noise and chatter, because they know they're at the best practice that's investing and elevating and giving them the best patient care they possibly can have.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode here on the ZeroBalance Podcast, brought to you by the team at QuantaSuite. Very excited to keep this thing going. Our last conversations and episodes, crazy to think it's 2026 already. We're at the Dykema Conference, and I had the privilege of spending time not only with the QuantaSuite team, but also a lot of great individuals that came on the podcast and talked about what they were seeing. In that case, it was in the DSO space. I'm very excited today to be with Kiera Dent from the Dental A team. I've known Kiera for many years. We were actually just talking before we came on here live. She is doing a lot along with her team to help dental practices take things to the next level. She's been in dental for many, many years. And so we're going to have a conversation today, kind of around all things AI and automation, and love to have her, kind of share with all of you what she's seeing. Her and her team are working with dental practices on a daily basis. And obviously, the QuantaSuite team is creating their software in an effort to be able to support practices in the RCM world. But Kiera, it's such great to have you here. How you doing?
Oh my gosh, John, it's great to see you again. And I love chatting about all things dentistry. I love having the last name Dent. I love dental. I love AI. I love, it's crazy. Dental team hits 10 years old this year, which is like absolutely wild. 2026, I was getting ready to, writing my goals out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I turned 40. My husband turns 40. We've been married for 15 years, and dental team hits 10 years this year. So, and I bring that up only because it's like a trifecta of a cool year for me. But I think as you were discussing, like, being in dental consulting for 10 years, having worked in front office teams, having worked at a dental college, having owned dental practices, having bought and sold, having consulted like 300 plus offices physically, watching the DSO emerge, watching AI come in. I just think it's really like such a fun time for us to be in dentistry, and so many great advancements. And in Dental A team, we are obsessed with doctors and teams, like getting them aligned, getting them streamlined, helping dentists be like CEOs and owners of their practices. We love Josh. We love what he's building in DCS and now in Qantas. We think that they're doing some really fun, incredible things. And Dental A team, we're just really big on, I think, streamlining dental practices, helping them say yes to more things. So getting them and their vision, getting financially free and profitable, and then getting systems and team development to support that. And AI is definitely being a big player. And I think dentistry it's so fun because it's been such a I think slow roll on evolution in certain ways. Sometimes I think we are very archaic. My husband's in healthcare and medicine, and he's like, wait, that's your guys' software? And I'm like, don't judge. I know it's a little dated. He's like, they didn't even have that when I started my career 15 years ago. But I think to watch dentistry evolve into AI and automations and different things, I think we are in such a special time. So we work with solo practices, we work with multi-practices, we work with emerging DSOs, we work with DSOs. We've got consulting for kind of a broad spectrum, and kind of our sweet spots at like $2 to $5 to $10 million practice. We definitely have built a lot of things that can help multi-offices, but we really love those offices that are obsessed about team, about culture, and about just positively impacting the world of dentistry in the greatest way possible. So, John, super excited to talk about it. I feel like we just have like so much knowledge to bring to the table and just riff and discuss and give your listeners hopefully a fresh, fun, positive perspective on the world of AI dentistry, and of course, bringing team and doctor perspectives to the table for you today.
Well, thanks for sharing that. As you can see, everybody, Kiera comes with a ton of energy, but it is rooted, as she mentioned, in years of experience in this industry. And here's where I wanted to start, Kiera. So I want to go back maybe like 5 or 6 years in dentistry when there was a lot of new software platforms that were coming to dentistry, patient engagement, right? It was like this big giant party and a lot of practices were excited. You may remember, though, as someone that works directly with the dental practices, with as much excitement as there also was a little bit of overwhelm, right? Because it's like, where do we start? Like, how do we build these in? And it's funny that you talk about your husband because, yes, in dentistry, these are all somewhat kind of new to the industry. And so practices are figuring out how to use them. And I do feel like, okay, maybe a couple of years ago with like firms like yourself that have really helped these practices figure out how to utilize them, they got that under their belt. And then here comes AI, right? And here comes this whole new way for these practices to be able to communicate, task orient and all that stuff. So that's kind of the first place I'd like to start, is that when you look at the work that you do now with the dental practices, and I say the word AI, where is everybody's heads?
Yeah. And agreed. I think that this is just evolution of business. Like if I were to like even simplify it down, I think dentistry has been so much like we drill teeth, we fill teeth. But I'm like, guys, we have evolved. We don't do wooden teeth anymore. We've evolved, and now there's laser and there's PRF and there's more advancements to dentistry that we do. Like I have a practice, I call them my PRF powerhouse, and they've added PRF to their practices, and we've added multi-millions to their office. But like, yes, financially, that's been amazing, but their patient care has gone up so much, like the amount of results we're seeing. And so when people are like, software's AIs, I'm like, hold on. You have evolved in your dentistry and you've seen how much it's evolved and how much better it is. I mean, the way we used to do crowns compared to how we do crowns, we can do same day crowns. We look at how we do ortho. We look at the different like skill sets that we've been able to add in. I feel like AI is the same thing. And I think when we get a little skittish, that's actually where I feel like we're at more danger of a society. And as I don't want to use the word old, John, but I'm like, hey, if you're not going to innovate and like you're going to die. So
Yeah.
there's innovate or die. We've got to grow and evolve, or we're going to be left behind. And I mean, I think we see that with certain practices who elected, no, 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 John, I'm not going to have online. And online, no, they're going to see my sign. They're going to drive by. This is who I'm going to be. Well, if you don't have an online presence today, you're pretty much not visible anywhere in the world. No, 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 John, I'm not going to do Google reviews. I don't need to do Google reviews. Well, Google reviews are how people find you. And now it's becoming AEO, where AI is actually now searching for offices. I mean, we just did a trip to Iceland, and where did I go? ChatGPT. And where's my next place I go? I go to Instagram, TikTok. What are the best places to go? No, John, I don't need to be on social media. We don't need to have that presence. We have our marketing. We send postcards. Well, if you're not on Instagram, people are going there now. They go check your Google reviews and then go check your online profile. So I think for dentists to maybe recognize that, high five, like you actually have evolved over the last several years. You've evolved. You are morphing. And as businesses, it is an innovation or it is a die. And so when we talk about AI is going to be awesome. You guys, AI was created. Like, I think so much of the reason it took off is because we had 2020, we shut down. Then we went through 2021 of the great resignation. We could not find people. You want to talk about hygiene shortages? Well, great. Now we're able to bring in people, and you're like, but AI is not going to replace hygiene. Correct. But AI is actually helping with perio charting and different pieces that we're able to utilize. It's cutting down our costs that we're able to have on some of the billing and the revenue cycle management, that we actually have alleviated funds to be able to pay the higher cost of hygiene that's offsetting so our businesses can still be profitable. So when I look at it from a business, I think, guys, welcome to 2026. Welcome to AI, and get excited about it. And rather than being afraid of it, let's start to embrace. And you don't have to be the earliest adopter, but I will say, similar to like, I'm not going to join the internet. I'm not going to have Google reviews. I'm not going to do Instagram. We have watched that those who wait too long. I'm not going to do online payments. John, that's my favorite. Like, we still expect checks. I don't even know how to write a check, guys. Like, truly, I'm like, who accepts checks? But things like that are so dated and so cumbersome compared to how the world's evolving, that you are niching yourself more and more to less and less and less of a patient base. And if that's your exit strategy, rock on, it's a great one. But if you're not on the exit strategy, you definitely need to get on board with AI. And I think like we have a practice in Maryland. She's a pediatric practice. And she's like, we call it AI Amy. And while, yes, our team gets annoyed with AI Amy, they've trained an AI bot to be able to schedule for these DC parents that want to make appointments at all hours of the day and they want to talk to someone. AI Amy schedules. And guess what? AI Amy schedules about 75% correctly. And the team's annoyed. And the doctor's like, you never get to be mad at AI Amy because that was 75% of patients that we didn't even have to schedule. Yep. 25% were a miss. Perfect. But that was 25% out of 75, like 100%. That's a quarter. We've literally cut down our space. And so I think when it's looking at scheduling tools, revenue cycle management, looking at how we use it for hygiene, doctors like using Pearl or Overjet to help with diagnosis, case acceptance is going up. And while it's not perfect today, I think getting in the language, getting in the familiarity, so you don't accidentally get too dated, AI is going to take off faster than anything else. If you're not on ChatGPT, if you're not utilizing it for things, it cuts down man hours. And people are like, but I don't want people to lose jobs. And I'm like, you're not. We're elevating, we're lifting up our practice, and we're morphing into where the world and society is going. And your practice and your patients will thrive because of it. So that's my take. And I know I kind of went on a soapbox for you, John, but I think doctors need to realize it's not as scary as I think maybe some of them are looking. It's something we've always done. It just looks different today.
Well, I'm glad you shared all that because I've been talking with people a lot lately, and I feel like in unknown times or times where many of us don't know kind of where things are going to be, it really calls for leadership. And I think that's what's important. I think that's what you shared. I think that practices are looking for people like yourself and others that are living this. They've dove into it. They're embracing it. They're learning how to get the maximum out of it. And so I'm glad you shared that. All right. So that's the first piece, right? That's kind of like the overwhelm of the technology. You mentioned a little bit about revenue cycle management. And I wanted to get your thoughts as well on this other thing that dental practices are facing, which is patients now come in and are having the same type of expectation of the experience on the business side of the practice, their billing and their payments and all of that, that we have with other businesses that we work with. And so now a dental practice is getting questions, as you know so well, like, okay, like, am I going to be able to pay easy? Are we going to be able to track all this easy? Because that's how we do it with other businesses. And now all of a sudden the dental practices have had to wake up and they have to make sure that that part of their practice is also, you know, automated and where it needs to be. So love to have your thoughts on that part as well.
Yeah. And John, just to like piggyback of where you were talking about dentists getting on board, I will just like plug, and this is why we built an in-person mastermind, is because I recognized dentists feel like they're on isolated islands. And when you can get around really smart, like you are the equivalent, proximity is power. And so getting around dentists that are not afraid of this, being in groups, listening to podcasts like this, like if we can serve on that, rock on, I'm happy to do that. I would just encourage you to surround yourself with smart people that are getting involved in this and people that push you out of your comfort zone, people that have voices that are maybe not the same of what you normally listen to. Like if you're always listening to Fox News, maybe listen to CNN, or if you're listening to CNN, then go to Fox. Like you need to hear opposing opinions on this. And I would just really encourage people to be a part of innovation rather than being destroyed by innovation would be my recommendation. And then going into this patient payment, John, it makes me laugh because dentistry, and I did a podcast, I should go find it. It was several years ago. And I'm like, why is dentistry on payments like we're in the 1800s? Like, put it on my tab. I'm like, what is going on in dentistry? Like, nowhere else do you go and you're like, got my groceries, but could you put that on my tab, John?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but yet in dentistry, we're like, oh yeah, we'll bill insurance and then we'll charge you for that. What are we doing? And I just think like our revenue cycle management in dentistry is so dated and archaic that I'm like, ladies and gents, it's an amazing way for you to make a lot more money with a lot less effort if you just update a little bit on your revenue cycle management. Like we are so archaic. And dental insurances are using AI. Like why do you think Pearl and Overjet exist? Well, you better believe that the insurance companies are ripping that too. They're using AI to see their claims. So with payments and patients, I do think like patients are expecting us to have online scheduling. They're expecting us to have easy ways to pay. I mean, I've even seen some dental offices that take payments in Bitcoin. And I'm not here to say you need to go clear to Bitcoin or like some extremes, but I do think that there's this evolution of, I don't want to wait a long time. I don't want to have weird payment things. I want to, people like John, I think it used to be the society where we worked 8 to 5. We left our work at home. We didn't have computer or at work. We didn't have computers. Our phone was a landline. It would shut off and we were home. That does not exist anymore. So most of the time, I feel like our 8 to 5 is our quiet time at work. And then after hours, we're like, I need to pay for this and I need to take care of this appointment and I need to schedule the kids for this. And we do that while we're sitting in bed, scrolling through Instagram and like, oh, shoot, I need to make that payment. I feel dental practices, they have such an amazing opportunity if they will update and use more modern, I would say, like it's not even AI, guys. We're just talking about getting
Yeah.
onto the playing field.
Yeah.
If you would do that, I have watched practices that implement these processes. Their AR, their collections, their profitability are exponentially more, I would say, consistent and constant as much as opposed to being like inconsistent and fluctuating like they were in the past because patients can pay all the time, patients can send things forward. And I do think like, yes, dentistry people want that good old home, like their own dentist that like takes care of them. But I think a lot of times the way you've evolved with technology also helps people see how have you evolved in your dentistry as well. I do not want to go to somebody who's still paper charts. I get concerned about, are we up to speed on our current things? Like that's so foreign to me. No one else does that anymore, that I think we have to be careful that we don't accidentally date our dentistry by not being up to speed on our payments as well.
So you just built the bridge to the next thing I was going to ask you, right? So we talked a little bit about technology and embracing it, the patient experience and what they expect. And then this final thing is the perception of the patient in looking at the practice and the technology that the practice invests in. And again, 10, 15 years ago, when maybe dentistry was not as proactive and patients were just going to the practice. Now practices are, it's more competitive. There's more practices in every city, many across the country. And so with that becomes this image that you portray to the patient and your business that you are making those investments to stay up to speed to be able to provide those types of services. And so talk about that a little bit. And I think that for many dental practices, like for many of us that are entrepreneurs, like we've lived in this ROI world, right? If you ever were someone that had to raise cash or capital, you get those questions. And from a dental practice perspective, right, it's like, okay, we're going to make this investment in technology, and rightfully so. What's the ROI on this? And I do think, and I loved your thoughts on this, that companies are doing such a better job of being able to paint that picture of, okay, you're going to make this investment, you're going to put this technology in the practice, it's going to make your patient experience better, but here is going to be the return on investment. You are going to unlock a lot of your AR that's out there, make things easier for your patients. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I'll just get like paint a story of a practice. So there's a practice in Texas and this practice is amazing. Like they truly have a castle of an office. I am blown away at how stunning this practice is. They are up to par on all the latest technology. They do a lot of these items in their practice. But what they were doing was the patient came in, so the waiting room was beautiful, and they would just walk the patient straight back to the back. Now, this is a practice who's been around multi generations of dentistry. They do service in other places. They have a state of the art lab. They do in house, like it is a practice that should be showcased. And they were struggling and their revenue was down. And we went in person with this office and we consulted their team and we taught them, like, we're going to have you guys take them on a patient tour. So we like, this is a pretty large team. I think there's about 35, 40 people. And we like made them role play walking through this practice and showcasing this ROI items that they've put into it. I'm like, you guys are using this, but do your patients actually know that you're doing it? So we do this, we implement it, we track a few things with them. Fast forward 2, 3 months post visit, their reviews exponentially went up. Their new patient counts went up. Their revenue, they had their highest revenue number they had ever had, and their culture of their team was happier. And I was like, I don't think I can sit here and say it's a coincidence. Like the patients love the tour. Like they love
Yeah.
seeing this practice. They love seeing what's going on. And what it does is it just gives confidence. And I say, John, if you and I were to go to a surgeon, right? I'm going to want to know that that surgeon is the best freaking surgeon and that I'm going to put my confidence in them because I only have one arm, one hand, one leg, one neck. We only have one set of teeth too. And so helping patients get the perception of who you are as a dentist and showcasing, I have seen, like, I've worked in hundreds of practices, and some of my best offices do not showcase like they're the best. And perception is a lot. Now, there's some practices who actually are not great dentists and they showcase like they're amazing. And so you got to make sure that who you are is what you're doing. But the ROI, and I wanted to showcase that practice, they have invested in a lot of this technology. They have invested in advancing their practice and it shows, and they're able to show their patients. And we had direct correlation of higher reviews, higher new patients, and higher production. And so I think just that example, and this was done just a couple of months ago. We were out there in September, and in December, they had their highest month. So it wasn't a long-term ROI churn. It was very quick. And so I think in general, medicine has evolved. I think across the board, we're talking healthcare as a whole has leveled up. They uptick higher. Patients are expecting more. I mean, we go anywhere and technology is higher. You go to the movie theater, you go to the restaurants, everything has up leveled. And if you and your practice are not up leveling, and I don't think it's hard for dentistry, I'm like, you guys already have a 3D printer, or you already have a scanner, or you already are taking digital x-rays. Just tell your patients you do this, showcase it around, because I think the fallacy that you might fall into is like, but patients are just loyal to me. I think we have to be careful because there's so much online noise that while a
Right.
patient might love you, they're seeing other offices that might accidentally take away your patients, and they're doing it. Like, it annoys me, John. I have a patient sitting in my chair like, yeah, I just went to Dr. Thompson down the street for my ortho. And I'm like, so we do ortho here, but they didn't know we did it. And so don't accidentally not showcase your work and showcase how great you are and how up to par you are, that you're accidentally losing patients that are silent leavers of your practice, because you didn't showcase how great you were and let your patients know what you actually do. I think that's the trap and the opportunity, if you take it, to be able to like keep your patients with you and keep them happier with you when there's still noise and chatter, because they know they're at the best practice that's investing and elevating, and giving them the best patient care they possibly can have.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Just this kind of invisible credibility that comes with what you just talked about, which is when a business, in this case, a dental practice, is making the investment in these newer technologies. A lot of times, as patients, we don't say it, but we know. Like you said, you walk into a practice and you see there's in your own life, you know what it took to remodel your house or to get a new car or whatever the case may be of the things that are important to you. And so I think more and more patients know and understand what a dental practice or a business has to go through when they up their game. I believe that you get a lot of credibility out of that, right? Versus maybe the one that doesn't do that. Maybe the thought becomes, whether it's real or not, hey, why aren't they doing that? Like, are things not good here? Like, do I have something to be concerned about? And in many cases, perception is reality. And again, it's going to run through to patient care. We all know that. I think the last thing I wanted to get your thoughts on, and you talked a little bit about earlier, was AI in the sense of case acceptance, because you and I both have been in this industry for many years and have watched all the courses that dentists and hygienists and dental assistants have had to take on how to present good treatment and get case acceptance. And we've watched them struggle for many years, Kiera. And then all of a sudden we have these newer technologies where you can show the patient like where the work needs to be done in their mouth. And it's crazy, right? All of a sudden they're like, wow, like that's me. Like that's where I have to get work done. And the dentist is like, I've been telling you this for like, why didn't you just believe me? And in front of our eyes, this technology is now instilling confidence in the patients. And ultimately, it's a win for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's such a beautiful time for dentistry right now because we've been living in shades of gray for so many years. We advanced from like little tiny thumbnail x-rays to on the screen x-rays that are still in gray to now having AI that can show patients exactly what's going on, and it's colored and it's showing them and it's giving measurements. And I think like what an amazing opportunity for you to use tools at your fingertips where you're not having to try to convince a patient of like, can you kind of see this like little gray box within this like other gray box that they truly cannot see, to now this is what we're seeing. This is how it is. And to still give the doctors the liberty to be diagnosing. I know some have said that like AI is so aggressive on it. And I'm like, you don't have to diagnose that, but
Right.
you now have a tool that's going to at least highlight. And I think dentists, you're so busy, you're running from exam to exam to exam. You have something that can look for all these things, prep it. You can train your eye. You can tee up all your associates that come in. Your hygiene team can learn collectively, and your patient now has visible proof. It's like and I know dentists hate being compared to mechanics, and I'm very sorry. I think it's just such a good like
I
analogy,
love the
but
analogy. I say it all the
because I go,
time.
right? Like I go
Yeah.
to the mechanic and I'm like, here, you need new brakes. And I'm like, but do I really? Because I've been
Right.
scammed so many times. Patients are like, do I really need a crown, John?
Right.
Like, are you
Right.
sure? And we have taken that guesswork of, are you sure? To being able to show them with black and white proof to where they're bought into it. They know they're not being scammed by you. They can see it with their own eyes and they're much more likely to accept treatment. And I say, like, confidence is what people are buying when they're saying yes to dentistry. Confidence is what increases your case acceptance. And this is a layer of confidence for you as a dentist, for your patients to see, for your team to all speak the same language. I don't care if AI is overdiagnosing, don't overdiagnose. You are still the doctor. Like this is just a tool in your tool belt. But I think it's something that hands down, I am so pro using it. And I'm like, doctors also be so vigilant because insurances are denying claims based on the same software. Like they're using AI as well. So you might as well be in the game with them to see what they're seeing, to learn, to educate AI so you're a part of it. They use AI in medicine all the time. They use AI overlays on their x-rays that I'm like, yes, I get that it's not perfect. Yes, I get that it's clunky, but gosh, it's a freaking good tool that I would strongly advise you trying out, getting to know, using and learning even if it just helps you. I think about it. If I'm able to get 1% more on case acceptance, go look at everything you're diagnosing. Usually that's a pretty good uptick, but not even just on your bottom line, but on the amount of patients you're able to help and serve. Oh,
Yeah.
why not? Like
It's awesome.
what are you holding back on? I would just say don't be afraid. It like just get in the game because you'll learn it's a lot better for you than it is scary and there's a lot more good than there is harm.
Yeah. No question. Well, here's how I want to bring us home. You work with a lot of dental companies, and I believe that this gap that I've seen for years between like the companies that are bringing the technologies to the dental practices and the practices themselves, it's exciting to kind of watch that gap close, right? Like I'm seeing more and more companies kind of listen and say, hey, what problems are you having? How can we utilize our resources to help you solve these problems? And, we talked a little bit about at the onset, the relationship that you have with Josh and DCS or whatever. And what's exciting is that you have companies that are starting and doing and solving one problem and then taking a lot of that feedback and then creating, in this case, another technology platform in an effort to kind of elevate that problem, or I mean, to be able to solve that problem with their solutions. What's that been like, right? Like, talk a little bit about when you watch these companies evolve and continue to listen to the dental practice and bring these technologies to help these practices up their games.
Oh, I think it's amazing, actually. I am such a pro. Like, I'm on a couple of different boards as well. And I think it's something where when I look at it, I'm like, why are these people doing it? And it's because we love dentistry. Like, I look at Dental A Team and what I used to consult versus what we consult now. Like, there's DSO, there's different needs than what a solo practitioner has. And so, Dental A Team evolved and we became something of what are we going to do to serve the DSO thing and still be able to give back? What is Josh with DCS? Like we heard this, we saw the need and we built something to help on that other avenue. To me, I think like how awesome is it that you have people that are in the weeds, in the trenches, have been here? I mean, I've got a decade of consulting, not to mention my like 5 years prior to that of assisting and all the other things prior to before that, like 5 more years. Like there's so much, like you have people that are so embedded in dentistry and they've seen the evolutions that they're willing to come forward, they're willing to execute, they're willing to stamp, they're willing to work hard to evolve these products and softwares to give back to you. And I think like people who are deeply rooted in dentistry, building these products, they're the best ones. Like I watched Medenta, which I'll just give them like, they were built by a hygienist and a dentist, and they were able to be one of the best softwares when they first started that I've ever seen. And I'm like, I could tell this was built by people that got it. And so watching DCS, like they get it. They're in the trenches. They've been watching this. They know what they're doing and they're moving it forward. We've been watching offices. We've been working with DSOs. We see what the nuances are and we build and create stuff to serve the dentist. Gosh, I just think it's magic and I think it's beautiful. And I think like how lucky are we to be in these spaces to have people that have had enough time in the industry to know what the next layer is that you need before you even know. It feels like Henry Ford to me in a little bit. Like, they said, if I give the people what they want, they'll want a faster horse. But if I give them what they need, it will be a car. And they don't even know that they need that yet. And I think that that's where we're evolving, is being able to anticipate the needs of what offices need prior to them even realizing it's a need. And that to me is like just epic and incredible, of a society and a community that really wants to give back and serve and make dentistry the best it can be.
Well, and who would have ever thought that a dental company would take the time to create a podcast like this, the ZeroBalance Podcast, right, as a way to continue to add value and, of course, invite amazing guests like yourself. I can tell everybody, I remember, I don't know how many podcast episodes Kiera has done, in the past however many years. I remember the actual weekend that she was building and putting up those black panels behind her. And so it's like, you're definitely listening to someone, when you talk about someone that has rolled up their sleeves and dug in an effort to move dentistry forward, Kiera, you certainly have done that. And I know the DCS and Quanta team really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to show your passion. And I think more importantly, help dental practices bridging a lot of these technologies and how to implement them. So any final thoughts as we wrap?
Yeah, well, huge appreciation, John. And thank you for helping me with the background, because I definitely asked for you and your help and your insights. So appreciate that.
Looks so good. I love it.
Thank you. But I think, again, it's an evolution. And I would just say AI is going to be awesome. And there's going to be glitches and there's going to be problems with anything. But I think the more we can embrace and we can innovate, we're either going to innovate or we're going to die. And we're going to be either on the path forward or we're going to be left behind. And I think dentistry, we have such a beautiful gift to give people confidence and clarity and smiles and health that no other profession is able to do. So I think it's just a moral charge for each of you to look to see where is maybe one area of AI or advancement that I'm willing to step into this year. So I commit to not getting dated. And I think DCS and the Qantas team are a great place to start. I think on our side, if there's anything we can do with team, with consulting, with shoot, I hate doing this. I don't want to go rally my team. Great. We love to do that. We do the part that no one likes to do, just like DCS. They do the part of billing that no one likes to do. I think we do the dirty work of dentistry, but we love it. And we have a passion for it. So if we can help and serve in any way, thedentaleteam.com, hello at the Dental Aid team, huge partners of DCS and have referred many people to them over the years, and just excited for what they're doing. So be excited, guys. We live in the best times. We live in the most innovative times. And I think it's just a really amazing miracle that we get to be a part of dentistry and the changes. And I think everybody needs to realize what you do or don't do is going to have an impact on our future of dentistry. And I think that that's a moral charge each of us should take to be able to preserve the sanctity of our dentistry. That doesn't mean we stop it. That just means that we're able to positively impact. We're able to keep the integrity of our profession. And each of us, I think, have a moral charge to do that. And so get on board, be a part of it, be a part of the noise, be a part of having your voice heard, and truly just excited and honored and happy to help in any way we can.
Great way to wrap. And if you're watching this on YouTube, love to have you subscribe to the ZeroBalance Podcast. If you are an audio podcast listener and you're listening to on Spotify or Apple as well, subscribe, and each time the Quanta team adds a new episode like this great one with Kiera, it'll come through on your listening device of choice. So Kiera, thanks so much. Best of luck as you continue to do great things. It's a big year for you, like you mentioned, 2026. So I'm excited to stay connected and watch all the great things that you and the Dental Aid team are doing. So until next time, we'll see you, everybody.